Nowadays, there are two types of people living in this world, those who are privileged and those who are underprivileged. You see, the privileged are like you and me. They have voices, but they tend to misuse their voices, while the underprivileged, they act like slaves. They don't have a voice, they don't even have a choice. So, what is the point? There is no balance. But luckily for Malaysia, we have that balance. We can use that balance through the federal constitution. When you understand your basic rights, you will have balance in your country. So I'm Abdul Hakim Azhar, and today we're going to talk about two things from the Constitution, which is our basic rights. We're going to talk about Article 6, freedom from slavery, and Article 10, freedom of speech. Hope you'll enjoy the video. By definition, slavery is an act of owning another human being. When you are a slave, you must follow the whims of your master. What they tell you to do, you must do it without choice, whether you like it or not. It's just like forced labor, it's the same thing. Currently, there are about 200,000 cases of human trafficking in Malaysia. 200,000. Did you know that? No. These 200,000 trafficking cases, they came from inside Malaysia, outside Malaysia. Some of them are children, some of them are just irresponsible. So here is my friend Mahadini, who's going to talk about Article 6 regarding forced labor.
Hello, my name is Mahadini and I will explain about Article 6 subsection 1 and Article 6 subsection 2. This article stated that slavery and forced labor are prohibited. Article 6 subsection 1 mentioned that no one should be held as a slave. That means that no one can be forced to be a slave, and that kind of action is illegal. Article 6 subsection 2 mentioned that all type of forced labor are prohibited unless it is a compulsory act, which is by law, only for national service purposes. Okay, the case study that we choose is orphans are being exploited by the owner of Tafiz institutions. Can you believe that? These children will go out to their customer and sell the products that they are told to sell to their customers. And normally they will go to petrol pump stations, and they will go to restaurants. Male will go to restaurants, and while female will go to petrol pump stations. So the male will wear songkok with baju Melayu and with a sling bag, while the female will wear baju kurung. They even use a receipt with Pusat Tafiz Amal stated on it. It makes people believe that they give a little bit of help or fund towards this Pusat Tafiz Amal, but actually the profit all went to this Mr. S.M. Amin. To be honest, this is really dangerous for children, small children, to start working, especially when they need to sell their products to customers. And furthermore, they need to work at night. They reach out their customer at night in the restaurant, at the petrol pump station. You must think that this money, the money or the profit that they got while they sell the products, will go to the institution, right? To repair their buildings and their house. No, actually no. As you can see, this is the picture of their house. You can see the house has broken windows. Even the fans are not fixed yet. So what happened to the money, to the fund that they collected? It turns out that the main person behind this syndicate is Azhar Wahab, also known as SM Amin. He took all the fund that was supposed to be for the Tafiz. These kids need to work for him, and he used their money, used their profit to enjoy his life. This is clearly a slavery and forced labor, and I'm glad that someone actually exposed this kind of syndicate.
Now, that would be a very scarring, dark impacts to the children. So, as citizens of Malaysia, what can we do to stop this issue of slavery, of human trafficking? Easy. First, you have to spread the word. Spread the word through social media, through news. Not everyone knows about the fact of 200,000 cases in Malaysia about forced labor. Secondly, you can support the NGOs, TechSoup and Yayasan Amal. Those two help to reduce slavery. So you just give them money and they'll do the job for you. Just give them funds. And thirdly, if you see any shady business or something, just report to the authorities. That's it. It's very easy. So, very simple. You save the slave, you save the day. Next up, we'll go to Aiman and Azwa to talk about freedom of speech.
Assalamualaikum. I am Azwa. Today, let's talking about freedom of speech. The principle of freedom of speech is that people can express their opinion, criticize without fear. People are free to criticize politics as well as to criticize the government. Freedom of speech is essential to ensuring that people have the right to freedom of speech and to promote democracy in the country. However, is the freedom of expression even more a multiracial country like ours? People now look bolder and more aggressive in expressing their opinion, especially in this modern world like on social media. This social medium is more open and free. By now, it is more free without resistance or restriction from the government. Expression and voice can change the fate of government, the fate of society, the fate of individual and more. There are many people with voice and opinion. Sometimes people feel insignificant in their view, that they do not want to speak. But why do people not want to speak? Maybe they are afraid of being asked out. Maybe they are afraid of their opinion. Maybe they are trying to keep others hurt. However, let it wrong because it is not always right for others. People also need to balance between talking and listening. If everyone wants to talk at the same time, so who should we listen to? Not everyone can speak at the same time, but all have the right and the space to speak up even when the issues are described as uncomfortable, sensitive, have the potential to upset people. Everything is the right to freedom of speech. So, the democracy of the conversation that is taking place is actually without restriction. Everything is the right to freedom of speech. Discussion of democracy are discussions that take place, for example, in the board, at work, and even at home. Through this, as we know the will of people and this is process of the right to freedom of speech. I think that's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Aiman Omran. Today I would like to talk about the freedom of speech. So it can be proven in the case of Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia case in 2010, there were a student who actually joined the parliament election at the Hulu Selangor back 2010, and at that time the students were entitled for certain possession campaign material. So the university actually charged this student about the disciplinary in the Article 15 subsection 5A of the University and the University College Act 1971, and in short we call it as UUCA, that charge them about the disciplinary to join any political party to actually support and to actually support them to become one of their leadership lineup. So in this case, what do you think about it? So in this case, they actually talk about the unreasonable for the section 15 subsection 5A of the UUCA. Is it unreasonable? Is it unconstitutional? So in this case, the section 15 subsection 5A of the UUCA is actually unreasonable and thus represent the unconstitutional because when we talk about the article 10 subsection 2A is actually need to possess the reasonable one for the student to pick up the freedom of speech. So it is actually bound to the article 10 subsection 2A they talk about the freedom of speech. So the students actually love to speak up, so it's actually unconstitutional for them to speak up and what they want. So yeah, that's all about me. Thank you.
And that was about freedom of speech. So we learned that you can't say everything apparently. It's called freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean that it's limitless. There's things that are still taboo. So all in all, what did we learn today? We learned about freedom from slavery and the freedom of speech. So use this knowledge to keep balance in the world. With balance comes easiness, come calm and peace. So have a nice day. Keep it balanced. Bye. Assalamualaikum.